getting placed in people also ask is actually like kind of a big deal because AI in the AI overview loves questions. It loves FAQ. And if you have a developer that is working on your site or working with you, ask them to add FAQ schema data into those areas of your site because AI is really loving to digest the schema data.
Welcome to the Marketing Expedition Podcast, an auditory journey through the latest in marketing, branding, and advertising. Now, here's your Marketing Expedition guide, Ray Allen.
On this episode of the Marketing Expedition Podcast, I get to speak with Amber Goetz. She is the founder of Active Media, a high-performance web and SEO agency she founded back in 2005, and creator of SEO Sidekick, a productized solution that helps brands rank smarter and generate leads faster. With 2 decades of experience turning websites into lead machines, she's built conversion-first funnels and positioned brands at the top of Google and their markets. She's worked with everyone from solo founders to scaling e-commerce brands and agencies, always focused on building systems that bring consistent, compounding results. Known for her no-fluff approach, Amber has a unique talent for making complex technical concepts feel simple, strategic, and profitable. She cuts through the industry BS and delivers actionable insights that listeners can implement immediately. So with that, we are going to dig into a lot of the tools and concepts and ideas and some case studies and some success stories. And she's just dropping so many good nuggets. You will definitely want to stay tuned for this and listen to this full episode. I'm going to go back and listen to it again. Just let you know, this is something you are maybe going to want to take notes on if you can, if you're not driving. And if you are, then save the episode for later because this is going to be a lot of good stuff for you to incorporate into your business. And of course, she'll share how you can get a hold of her and get her free newsletter. I know I'm signing up for it and you should too. All right, but first, it's time for your marketing essentials moment, the basics that you need to help you continue to build your brand and your bottom line. Today's topic is about the power of simplicity. Why less is more in your marketing. In a world that is overflowing with so many marketing messages, as we've been talking about, everyone's inundated so many times. And we know now that it takes 22 times for somebody to hear or see or engage with your brand before they really recognize that they've even heard of you before. Unless it's directly from a word of mouth referral, we have to do lots of different things to get in front of our ideal client at the right time, with the right message in the right place, and multiple times, right? Because sometimes they're just not paying attention when you want them to, because there's so many things that we're all getting inundated with. So the best way to think about how you can stand out is to keep things simple. Simplicity in your marketing isn't really about just dumbing things down. It's about making your message so clear that your audience instantly gets it, because we talk about instant gratification and those micro moments that you have to be able to capture somebody's attention. So here's how you can harness the power of simplicity. Number 1, it's simple. Simplify your message. Focus on one key takeaway. Instead of listing out every single feature or service or benefit or, highlighting all the things that you do, highlight the single most important benefit your audience really cares about. And understanding that there are different target audiences within the brands and the people that you serve, you can simplify the message for each one of those segments too, and what they're going to resonate with and how they're going to react to your message. So simplify your message, making it very clear on what your message can be and making the single most important benefit the one that stands out, that your audience that you want to target will care about the most. Number 2, clean up your visuals. Use uncluttered design, bold headlines, and plenty of white space, right? Less is more. When your visuals are straightforward, your message doesn't get lost in the noise, right? Don't try to cram everything all into the tiny little Google ad or the tiny little Instagram ad that you're doing. And all the real estate area that you have in those ads are now getting covered up with all of the other extraneous stuff that's on the edges. And so our safe space is smaller and smaller. So keeping it clear, keeping it uncluttered as much as you can, and understanding what works and what doesn't. Do some A/B testing. Look at your 2 different designs, look at 2 different messages, maybe 2 different images, and see which one rises to the top to the people that you are targeting. And then you can work on tweaking the audience that you're targeting, maybe the interests that they have, the age range, the geographic area, lots of things that you can do to filter and get those messages in front of the right people at the right time with your simple, clear message. Number 3, streamline your calls to action. Give people one clear next step, whether it's book a call, download the guide, watch the video, but too many options can overwhelm and paralyze decision makers, right? Analysis paralysis, if you give too many options and too many opinions and too many things to try to weed through, it can become a deterrent for them to want to go through and pick out the options that they have available from you. So give them one clear next step, one clear call to action that they can simply do, right? So an example, we recently helped a client relaunch their website. We're redoing it, and we cut out a lot of extra copy. We simplified the navigation. We focused on a single call to action, and then their bounce rate dropped and engagement shot up. We also put video with subtitles on it because people will read the subtitles in a video before they'll actually read the text on your screen on your page. So video is one way to absolutely help and also keep people on your website longer. We want people to stay on your site because then all of the Google bots out there will say, oh, this is a relevant site. People are staying on this site longer. So let's put video on there and make it look great and make it clear and simple. So think about what you can do here. Pick a piece of your marketing. Maybe it's your homepage. Maybe it's your sales letter. Maybe it's your video sales letter. Maybe it's an email that you send out on a regular basis. Or maybe if it's your next social media post that you do. Look for ways to simplify. And ask yourself, if someone only remembers one thing about your brand, what is that one thing that you want them to remember most? What is that call to action that you want them to take away? Do you need help with your marketing to make it crystal clear? Well, go to peppershock.com and see how we can simplify to drive results. Book a strategy session with us. We'll make it happen. Okay, now let's get into the next part of the podcast. Welcome to the Marketing Expedition podcast. I'm your host, Ray Allen. I'm the president and CEO of Peppershock Media and the founder of the Marketing Expedition community. And today we have Amber on the show. Welcome to the show, Amber.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So I always like to just share a little more than what the bio gives us. Tell us a little bit about you and what got you to where you are today.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, like anyone else, just lost, just looking for something that clicked. No. I, for years, spent a lot of my time in kind of like I was going down like the health path into college. Didn't love it. It was just so not resonating with me, but I don't know who knows why I got there, right? Saw this poster in the hallway at school, learn how to build your own e-com store. And I was like, what's e-com? Like, what is that? And just began curiosity about it. And I've always been a tech geek at heart, just couldn't get me off the computer if you tried, even before, it was just a green DOS screen. Like I was interested. So I jumped into a bunch of classes that, we're teaching different things on internet marketing and selling online and building an online store. And so I started building sites for friends' bands, like just doing these silly websites. And I really loved it. And then, I don't know, a year or two into that, I started approaching businesses and saying, hey, I can build you a website. And I'll never forget, I think it was like 2001, 2000, going into this furniture store and just like pitching my services. I'm still like super new at this point and telling what I do. And the guy actually said to me, that internet thing's a fad. And I remember like in my mind, I'm like, this guy is it's so wrong. Like he's so wrong. Yeah,
Mhm.
and here we are today, where it's like, I think having your business online is in some ways more important than having a brick and mortar, which is crazy to say.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I really thrive on helping people succeed, helping businesses really understand the web development, user experience, kind of lead gen space. I think it's really important for anyone that's doing business online to just have a full perspective of how it all works, because
Hmm.
you can weave that throughout all of your processes that you share at your company.
Absolutely. Well, why don't you share with us maybe a customer journey from, when you started working with them, what was the process? How did it work out? And maybe some success stories of those types of, sites that you've got to work on with your customers.
Oh my gosh. Okay. The first one that pops to my mind, that's the one I'm gonna go with, is a resort out of Arizona that is still my client. They've been my client for over 10 years. They
Oh, I love that.
had kind of a home built site that needed some love badly. And when I got my hands on it, it was 2014,
Mhm.
and everything was funky about it. Like the user experience was funky, the information was outdated, and it was just one of those things that was so cumbersome for them to update that no one has time for it. If you're running a
Mhm.
resort, you don't have time to make sure that the pricing has been adjusted, make sure the menus at the restaurant are the most current, and so it was really fun to jump in and not only address those issues for them and get them solved, but show them how we could improve the user experience, how we could even back then like automate some of the online processes to take heavy lifting off their team, who are running around trying to do all the things there on the resort, along with answering questions about the website, whatnot. And
Mm.
we've, like I said, we've worked together for over 10 years, love them like their family, and we continue to just keep revamping. We actually threw together a new version of their site last spring, which was
Mhm.
really fun because web is always evolving, and I love working with those clients that see that and they understand that, and they're like, yeah, let's keep making it better, like let's keep making the process simpler internally and externally. And I think that's when clients win, is when you remember that what you want might not be what you want, what your ideas are, for the website, etc., might not always be the best for what your ideal client wants, and so just always having your ears open to that feedback is so crucial. But with that with that client, I mean, we've had many successes. We've kind of dominate search engine results in that area, and it's a very highly trafficked area. It's in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. So they have a season where they're like, hey, please stop with the traffic because we're too busy. Like they'll literally call and say, hey, can we just like back off a little bit? And I'm like, well, not really. Once your organic is ranking and rolling, like you don't really
Yeah,
touch it. You're just like, oh, well, guess we're expanding. So
it's a good problem to have, isn't
a great problem to
it?
have. Yeah. If only everyone
Yeah.
had that problem.
Tell me a little bit more. Just dig into some of the tactics or things that help with their search engine optimization. I mean, like you said, everything's so evolving, and especially now with AI, and you know, the results are being served through ChatGPT and all these things. I mean, what are you doing to stay current with all the additional things that continue to like evolve every day? It seems like.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I mean, for me personally, I read every email Google shares from their web guidelines, because they're changing the algorithm. I mean, sometimes they're changing it like every couple months, where it used to be once every year, every 18 months. They're changing it up like, oh, here's August's changes. Oh, here's October. And you're just like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. So for me, that's like, if you're of technical interest, it's definitely good to get familiar with the Webmaster Guidelines. A lot of people
Mhm.
are going to look through there and their eyes are going to glaze over, and they're going to be like, cool, that was the most boring thing I've ever read. But I would say, from like a high level, things you should consistently always be doing is making sure that the content on your website is very true and unique to you. I know a lot of people use Chat GPT, and I think that's great. I think Chat GPT, AI, I think all those tools there are amazing to help us, as long as we're not letting it replace us. And when I see a website where it's just so clear the copy has been just 100% automated through AI, I'm not going to say I see those brands suffer or anything like that, but it just sort of takes away your individuality, like who you are as a brand and how you speak to people when they walk through your door, when you pick up that phone.
Mhm.
And I will say that since probably like a year ago, stronger branding across the board, meaning everything you say, do, the way you look, the way you respond, your tone, and everything across the board. And I'm talking
Mhm.
website, press releases, social media posts. The more those are all very cohesive in tone, those brands are succeeding far beyond on in
Mhm.
all searches, which
Mhm.
I personally feel is because, when AI dropped on the scene in 2023, everybody went crazy generating content and building these websites, and it sort of, I don't know, like muddied up the waters. Like we lost a lot of, not that we lost, but they kind of started outranking a lot of, brands that are real and authentic, because a lot of brands don't have an SEO person, or they don't have time to update that website every 5 seconds. So if you got this guy over here that's his hobby is just generating website content off of ChatGPT, for a minute
Mm.
there, those sites were outranking regular brands, and now it's kind of turning around, and we're seeing like
Mm.
really strong brands come back around, which I'm so here for. I think it's very,
Mhm.
very cool.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think people sort of got a little ambitious with trying to just always end up using ChatGPT or, some form of AI agent to do things for them. And yeah, sure, it makes it somewhat efficient and it can help, but I think that there's definitely something to be said about authenticity and using real people with real photos, because people want to buy from real people, right? It
Yes.
seems like I do. I mean,
Yes.
and we use AI here too, but it is there to help. It's just another tool to help, not necessarily replace or augment what you're doing. You want to, yeah, like you said, keep it authentic, keep it real.
Yes.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing, because you asked in your question, like, what are some things I'm seeing that's, working really well right now? And I
Yeah.
tell everyone, don't sleep on your Google business profile. It
Hmm.
feels to me like the Google business profile, it's always taken a little more importance than your own website ranking
Hmm.
per Google's eyes, it seems. But it's changing so much, and they're changing what they're tracking, the changes that they're expecting. I just found out last night that Gemini AI is going to be calling Google business number profiles just to test out that part of the user experience. Do you answer your phone? Are you helpful? Like, does your brand align with what it says you do? Which I'm like, oh
Mm.
man, like we all get a ton of bot calls as a business owner. As soon as you put up that Google business profile, it's like everyone's calling you. And I'm just thinking this is tricky, but it also makes a whole heck of a lot of sense if they're really leaning on the AI overview and the Gemini overview to really curate, the experience of, hey, hairstyle is near me. Of course it makes sense that they're going to make sure, like, are these people answering their emails, are they picking up the phone, like, do we really want to keep serving them up in the top three, or did 5, 6, and 8 answer their phone and provide a better experience? So that's
Mm.
just something I read in like an SEO newsletter I'm in, that people are talking about. So that's really interesting. But I will say that the brands who are paying attention to their Google business profile, making, frequent updates, and like really making sure that that content's always fresh, are doing better in a local SEO search result.
Yeah, we post to it just as much as we post to our regular social media profiles, and just add it as a part of the social media posts that we create and make. And I think that that's been really helpful, because why not? It's another
Yeah.
another free tool to use that people, I think you're right, often just don't think of it as another tool that is
Yeah.
really beneficial. And since Google is like the largest search engine, right?
Hmm.
May as well take advantage of that for sure and add photos and
Yep.
those types of things. Yeah, it's really
Well, I
good.
always say,
Really.
like, if Google puts a new field in there, like, oh, do you want to link your social? Oh, do you want to update your hours for
Mhm.
next month? Like, do it, do it, do it, do
Yeah.
it. Like, there's a
Yeah.
reason they're putting that out there for you.
Oh, I know. Now I need to go look at our Google My Business and make sure.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. I know, because well, that and like when we moved new locations, there's,
Oh,
lots of things out there still that have our old address, and, do your best to try to clean them all up and get all the new addresses listed and all the different directories and places. That's something also I think people overlook doing or realizing that they need to do. And, if you're sending your customers to the wrong address, oops.
I know.
That's
Also,
going to
too,
be,
this has come up, I'm not kidding you, twice this week. So I'm just going to throw it out there. If
yeah.
someone else set your profile up for you, or you signed up with an email address and created that business profile that you no longer use, get in there and make sure that you, as the business owner, are set as the owner. I have had 2 clients this week
Mhm.
completely lose access to their profiles because their original website guy or their friend, someone set it up and then just invited them as a manager, and they never did anything about it. And if
Mhm.
this is a newer thing, if you haven't accessed an email in over 18 months, Google's clearing out those Gmails. So then
Oh,
you're stuck up
interesting.
against, oh, great, how do I get back into my profile?
Yeah, and you are right. You can't because it's already been used,
Yeah,
and they won't let you do it again.
right.
Probably. Yeah, you're right. That's a
Yeah,
good
so
point.
I don't know. I'm just like, pay attention to your logins, guys. Write down the password you made. Like,
Oh, I know. Sometimes you end up in password loop hell.
I know. I finally caved and bought one of those things that helps you keep track of everything and make sure everything's secure. Because I'm
Mhm.
like, I can't do this anymore. This is not
Yeah,
what my brain was meant to do.
yeah, I hear you. We use LastPass, and it seems to work pretty good. I just was like, oh, I hope it never gets knock on wood, it never gets
I
infiltrated
know.
by the
No, don't
cyber.
say that. You can't
Yeah,
say
I
that.
know. Never mind.
Don't put that out there.
Not happening.
No,
Retract.
never.
Yeah. So I think that, yeah, if a business has not updated their website in a long period of time, and it's outdated and it's not consistent with, what they're doing, it definitely can be a huge turnoff for people to want to do business with them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So,
and even like I hate having this conversation is like you probably got to put some pricing on your site. I have so many
mm,
clients who are like, I don't want to put my pricing on there. I don't want to put my pricing on there. And I'm like, okay, well, guess what? Your competitors are. And
mhm,
that's going to make the
mhm,
difference. And the more information you provide and the more clarity you provide, AI is loving to cite that stuff. Like
mhm,
put in, how much is a, wellness clinic near me? What can I expect to spend? Whatever the question is, AI is usually always generating and pulling that, they're pulling that data from SEO optimized sites. And more often than not, you'll see information in there that does provide some pricing. I'm not saying it's accurate, but
mhm,
they're getting the information from somewhere. So I always tell people, like, you don't have to put the price, put a price range, like put starting at, like,
mhm,
you really want to like deliver that information up front, because it's going to help you get rid of the tire kickers, because you don't want to work with the guys anyways that don't want to pay your rate. So
mhm.
we
That's
have to
true. Yeah,
rethink it.
they're scared from just, not able to have that in their budget, then yeah, moving on to the next.
Moving on. Yeah, exactly.
So
So
another thing that I've heard about is putting frequently asked questions on your website. It seems like it would be a good move too, right?
it's absolutely a good move. It's a very important move. And I tell people, if you can, if you're a business that has service pages,
Mhm,
I would personally put unique FAQs on each of those services, and don't just pull them out of thin air. Go do some Googling yourself and try
mm,
to, when you Google and you scroll down and it says people also ask, and it's curating to you what people are asking. So
mm,
I always tell people, go do a little deep dive. Don't use all of them. Use the ones that actually make sense and that you can, when you look at the answer that Google's providing, they're pulling that from a site, and they'll even cite the site, and they'll have a link right to where they got that information. Look at that answer and be like, okay, I could do that better, and make your
mm.
response to that question way better.
I love that.
And
That's a
that's how you get
great
placed in there.
tip.
Like getting placed in people also ask is actually like kind of a big deal, because AI
Mhm,
in the AI overview loves questions. It loves FAQ. And if you have a developer that is working on your site or working with you, ask them to add FAQ schema data into those areas of your site, because AI is really loving to digest the schema data. And a lot of websites that are DIY, or they just kind of threw them together, they don't have any of that. So you're behind a little bit.
Mm.
I mean, for people like me, I'm pumped that the need for actual coding is coming back because we got way too much clunky junky out there over the last few years with all of these like DIY
Mm.
pre-built things. So I'm just like, yes, we need this.
Yeah, I know. I always love it when we want to work with a client and they're like, "Oh, well, my neighbor's kid's nephew, whatever, somebody, well, he can do it, for much cheaper." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Ugh."
Yeah. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get a thing that hits a ceiling and you're going to outgrow it. And then you're going to pay a developer to fix everything and bring it over to
Yep.
real. So
Yeah.
it is an investment. And one of my clients, when we first started working together, he was like, why would I do my accounting? This is the same thing. It is an area of business that ain't my expertise, just like accounting is not. And I pay someone else to do that. And I was like, I'm going to steal that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
That's great.
It's really
That's true. I'm like, I won't touch my accounting. No, thank you.
good. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to cut my own hair. I don't want to, yeah. We wanted to build our own website for sure.
Want to start a podcast but don't know where to begin? At Poderific, we don't just produce podcasts, we help you create auditory experiences that will captivate your audience. Our state-of-the-art podcast recording studio, powered by Peppershock Media, is designed for creators like you. Record with high-quality equipment supported by our expert team, and distribute your podcast across major platforms like Apple and Spotify. Whether you're launching your first episode or you're a seasoned podcaster, we got you covered. Visit Poderific.com today to learn how we can help you produce, record, and share your story with the world. Your podcast deserves to be Poderific.
So thinking about some of the tools and just tactics that people can take, ways that they might be able to incorporate some things to help them with their website. Even if they're not necessarily the developers or, the web people, like maybe there's some at least tools that can tell them, is my site working well? Is there, performance issues? Maybe just like, do you use any kind of tools that help people just determine if their site's doing okay or if there are areas that need to be fixed?
Yeah, there's a few actually. First one I would say is Page Speed Insights. It's a free tool provided by Google. You put in your URL and it'll spit back out the issues that Google sees with your website. It's going to be a variety of things. It could say, your load time's too slow. That usually will come down to maybe you're on a cheap server. A lot of times people grab a cheap hosting package, and that comes along with cheap hosting is usually a cheap service. So that's an easy fix. I mean, you can go find better hosting and then say, please migrate my site. And most all hosts will do that nowadays for you. So that's that's probably like the first most common issue I see with websites that aren't doing well. Besides that, it's going to spit back a bunch of other information like, hey, these images are too big, or you're not providing enough explanation in a link. Like it's kind of annoying and cumbersome, but if you've got a bunch of buttons all over your website that just say learn more, Google will have a problem with it. And they'll tell you, they'll be like, this is too nondescript. Like they want, learn more about services or whatever, book a session for X. Like they really are asking people to provide a more clear-cut path to where they want them to go.
That's
so
good.
Page Speed Insights, that'll take you down a rabbit hole and keep you busy for a minute.
Or at least,
it's also
know that they need to hire somebody to help them fix all the things, right?
Exactly. Or maybe you just hired somebody and they're like, here's your website. Run it through there, because if you just paid somebody and you're getting this report back that says your website's a D, they should do something about that. I guarantee all my clients, when we launch it out, you're going to get an A+ score from Google, because I'm not charging somebody and then sending them down the road with, a lemon of a website. Like honestly, beyond that, there's another tool that's, I think, super invaluable, especially when you're one of these people who maybe you just threw together your copy, maybe you used AI, but you're just not super sure that the words on your page are great. I know, like for myself, I don't love selling. And so that's where I lean on ChatGPT a lot, is I'll be like, I spin this up so it's a little more, I want to close more with this copy. There is a site called Hotjar, and you do need to place a snippet of code, but most folks can copy code and paste it somewhere. You don't have to write the code. You don't have to understand the code. You just need to paste the code. Hotjar will crawl your website. I think it's like up to 100 crawls for free.
Oh.
And not crawls, recordings. I apologize.
Mm.
And it will
Mm.
record 100 users' journey on your site. So you're getting this like peek behind the curtain of what someone's doing when they're scrolling around. You'll see.
It's kind of like a heat map or something,
It's
right?
so
I've
cool.
seen something like that where it's like the more places that people click on, it like looks like a heat map to me.
Yes.
Is that
Yeah.
kind of, yeah, like
There's
the infrared, where
Yep,
the
you
where
can see
you're
like
yeah.
maybe they're clicking on something that's not a button and you're like, do I need to put a button there? Why did 67 people click that spot? And it's
Mm-hmm.
super, and I do it all the time when I launch a site with a client. I'm always like, hey, can we run a heat map for a while? Like, just, I don't know. I'm never going to be like, I know exactly how to build this site.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead, I would rather be told, you're wrong, change
Mm.
it. And then the client wins with more conversions.
Yeah, no, that's really good
Yeah.
advice to see how people are actually navigating and how they're, maneuvering your site or if they bounce quickly
Yeah.
because of whatever reason. Yeah, that's
Another,
good.
one more tool that I'd like to share.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
a few sites do this, but I find Moz to be the easiest. You want to know what your domain authority is, especially
Mm,
if you are someone that's trying really hard to increase the visibility in search. If you have a low DR, domain rating, domain authority, they're always called different things, but it's the same thing. It's basically what your .com is ranked. What is it
mm,
ranked at? Knowing what your domain authority is really helps you see where you could have some setbacks. You could have a site that's been live for 10 years, but if you have a super low domain authority, you're like 10 or under, that's your biggest problem. Like you want to get your domain rating up to like at least 30, and then you'll start
mm.
attracting better backlinks. You will have people reaching out to you going, "Hey, I want a link from your website. I'll give you a link from mine." And that's part of backlinking. Like we're all
Yeah,
out here trying to support each other.
yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love all these tools. It's fun to learn what people are using in each area of expertise that you have. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, let's dig into another case study, another client that you've helped, and maybe kind of where they were before, and then what you did, and where they are now.
Okay. There's one here actually near me, near Zion. They are an RV resort, and when they brought me in for a meeting about a year and a half ago, they were like, we are at 13% capacity. We're not booking. No one's finding us. No, we're not coming up on search. Help. What can you do? And so obviously did a crawl of their site and saw that many, many areas of the site were missing very foundational SEO. I'm talking missing titles, no H1s, no heading structure whatsoever, no meta descriptions. They had pages that were not even being indexed. And so digging deeper, I'm like, who built this? Like, did they hate you? Like, why? Why did they do such a bad job?
Set
And
you up for failure.
yeah, and it turns out part of their software package when they purchased their, for the booking for people who come online to book
Mhm.
was, oh, we're going to build a website for you.
Mm,
And when you're an investor and you're building this resort and you've got these big dreams, you're not like worrying that your software company you're paying a gajillion dollars is maybe going to build you a shoddy website. You're just like, oh, cool, that's great. Someone's going to
yeah.
do the website, and it looked
Hmm.
fine. It was pretty, but it wasn't doing
Mm.
anything. Like there was no conversions coming in. It was like all happening from word of mouth and flags on the road, which
Dang.
so it's missing its purpose. And they were like, we need to do something like today. So
Yeah.
I was like, all right, here's what we got to do. We got to rebuild your website because foundationally they missed a million very important steps. So started the new
Yeah.
build of the website. At the same time, launched a pretty aggressive Google ad campaign. And
Hmm.
there's tons of ways to go about campaigns, but we wanted to just drill down super niche to the people we knew who were looking for
Mm.
their exact service. And we did that by setting up a competitor campaign. So anytime someone searched up a competitor, their ad would
Mm.
pop up right at the top. Because
Ooh.
in my mind, I'm like, that's the fastest way to steal
Yeah.
business. Like,
Yeah.
and that was like, okay, that's going to get the phone ringing in like 48 hours. And then from there,
Hmm.
it's just been building great rapport online with other local affiliated businesses to do like really strong backlinking and cross linking and keeping keeping on top of our SEO, working on whenever there's an opportunity to, like I said, increase that domain authority. Press releases is a fabulous way of getting some very nice websites to link to you when you're new. So that's a good trick. Within, I want to say 6 months, we had got them up to 60% capacity. And now today they're hanging around like 80%. So it's the end of this year will be their second year in business. And we just met earlier this week and they're like, all right, so next year we're going to hit 100%. I'm like, yes, let's go. So yeah, it's just been fun to watch them grow and just to even drive by and be like, look at all those spots taken up. That's exciting.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about Google Ads because, oh my goodness, there's just so many things to think about you said competitor ads. I love that. I mean, it's tricky, but also it seems highly effective.
Hey, all is fair in business and war.
That's right. I love it. But yeah, I think a lot of people or a lot of businesses, they might dabble, right, in Google Ads. And they might say, this has happened. Well, I tried it. It didn't work. Yeah. And so to that, I'm like, well, how long did you try it? Did you let it learn? Did you spend enough money? I mean, when clients come to you and say, hey, I want a Google ad campaign, what are some of the things that you would cover or just educate them on and why it's important to do it over a long period of time rather than just a short, tiny little, stint, and just thinking through like what's effective. What do you think?
Oh my gosh. So I think first of all, it's very industry based, If you're in a super competitive industry, like for example, lawyers, insanely competitive, they have no choice but to spend a nice chunk of money, and depending on the size, of the area they live in, they're going to spend more. Like a lawyer out here is not going to spend probably 50% of what a lawyer in like Los Angeles would spend. So
right.
It's really like,
or especially if they're like the ambulance chaser lawyers.
Yeah. Well, that's like a whole other thing. Yeah. That I'm like, whew, that seems really stressful. I don't run any of those.
Me neither. I don't want to.
No, but I do work with a criminal attorney out here who, we do his ads in such a cool way where we're really drilling down by the case type. And it's tremendous how well his ads are performing now. Like we're not getting phone calls for things he doesn't do. We're getting like legit phone calls for things he does. So that's kind of great. But then there's, on the flip side of things, I have a client out of British Columbia and they do wildlife tours. They take boats out filled with people from Germany and Switzerland and all over the country. So that is like just like a whole strategy, like trying to, and we dive deep into their booking list and be like, okay, seems like more people from Germany are more interested in bears and people from here are more interested in seeing whales. Like it's very, very different. And a lot of the audience dialing in, you got to be open to like starting out a little looser. You might think like, no, I want to target 25 to 45, but you might learn later on, like, you really want to target 35 to 65. Like you got to be willing to know that the more your ads run, and you're right, you definitely don't want to just turn them on and turn them off. It takes Google Ads 2 weeks to even like really start working at all, like really start showing and even collecting data. So for 2 weeks, you're not even going to really know at all how they're performing. But then like, you get to month like 3, 4, you're going to start having really good insights. The longer your ads are on, Google Ads is going to give you more tools, which is super frustrating. But, when you get to a place where they're like, oh, guess what? You're now allowed to do this. You're like, yay.
Yay.
But it's important because all of those little tweaks are going to help you like really, like I said, dial in and find the right client. And you also need to be open to, a lot of people will just jump in Google Ads themselves and do like the walkthrough setup. And how do I say this without like, making the Google overlords mad at me, but they're not necessarily putting your best interests at heart when they're like, this is a recommendation, do this. It's a recommendation. Like oftentimes it's a really good way to eat up your budget very fast. So I think just like really understanding and reading, don't just turn on auto all, don't just say AI takeover. Like you really want to make sure, like I said, you've clarified like this is a conversion. When the phone rings, that's a conversion. When there's all sorts of like I saw in there now, when you just go in and start setting up an ad, it sets up all these like predetermined conversions it thinks you want. And you get in there in like 2 weeks and you're like, I haven't had 100 conversions. What are they talking about? And then you go and you look and you're like, none of these things are conversions. Like a conversion is when I close a deal. Like that's a conversion. So yeah, I would just say like learn, get on YouTube. It's some really great resources out there, and just make sure that you're not skimming through and applying all and doing what they say. Like you just really make sure to read through every single option that they're handing to you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's great advice. AI is only as good as it can. It's just not, it still has to have human intelligence to use artificial intelligence, right? I mean, using, what works and what doesn't, and testing it and giving it time to test and understanding,
and
it's going to take a
like
moment.
pay attention to the search terms that people are searching to find your ad and like delete them. If they're not good search terms, say, no, thank you. Do not ever show my ad for this term, because I see that too. Or you'll log in and you're like, there's 1,600 search terms in here. Most of them have nothing to do with your business. And they're just like, oh, I don't know. I told Google to add whatever it thinks. And that's like, again, fastest way to eat up your budget.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure. So what other kinds of things do you do for your clients? SEO, Google Ads, is there other services, besides, building the website, but are there other kind of areas that you focus on?
Yeah, actually, for my local clients near me, I do content creation. So I will still go out. I have a couple shoots tomorrow and we'll go out and we'll do some video, we'll do some photo. I can't do it for all my clients, especially one in British Columbia. That'd be difficult. But in my past life, I photographed over 600 weddings. And so I have a lot of camera gear. A lot of camera gear.
Weddings and 600 mothers of the bride.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And aunts and the uncle and the cousins. Yeah. So yeah. And it's fun because for me, like I got burnt out in that world. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this anymore. But it's fun.
I can relate. When we first started our business, we thought, we'll do wedding videos. Yeah, that quickly took a turn. We were like, we're not doing that again.
It's
no,
not for the faint of heart.
For us, it really was not necessarily the bride. It was like you said, the relatives. It was just, oh my God, these people.
It's the mean wedding coordinators. Why are they so mean?
No, why?
Why are you so grumpy all the time?
I mean, get her a glass of wine. She might loosen up a little.
Yeah, just chill out. Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah. Maybe she's hangry. I know.
It's fun. And the reason I've like kind of picked that up again is I have a ton of gear laying around, but like it's fun. I love getting to know my client on that level and helping them get out of that stock world. Like there's so many businesses that use stock photography. And so I'm like, can we go take pictures of your actual crew, doing their thing? And it's fun. And that's something else we should wrap into is social media playing into SEO nowadays. You probably know this, Ray, but in July, Google announced officially that they're indexing Instagram captions. So naturally, I told all of my SEO clients, I was like, don't sleep on your social anymore. Don't just be like, felt cute in the shirt. Like, let's put some keywords in there. Like, let's make this post more valuable. And so I've been kind of looping that into some of my, like I said, my local clients, be like, hey, let me help a little bit, put together a few posts a week for you, just so we're following some SEO guidelines. So, especially if it's like a case study, progress update on a job, let's get some keywords in there. So if someone's searching on Instagram, I want a new pool, you're going to come up, which is super easy to rank locally too.
Yeah, no, that's great. I don't know. I think social media, from a business perspective, brands have a hard time getting organic growth. So if this is another added value that they can use for SEO, then it maybe justifies, even though they're not getting a huge following or engagement, but it can help with search engine results then. Yeah, that's good.
Absolutely.
That's
And
more more power to the idea of why social media is still important.
it is, and I hate it. I tell everybody, I'm like, people are like, do I have to do social? I'm like, it is a necessary evil. I'm
Mhm.
not saying you're going to get the best leads from social media, but people are definitely looking you up to see, like, is this person relevant? Like, do I like them? What do they do?
Mhm.
So I tell people, like, you got to do it. Just when you do it, put a little effort into it. Make sure you're actually talking about what you do in your captions, and you're going to be okay.
And showing your people. I really do think, to your point there, whenever we post something with our staff or our crew, or we're doing behind the scenes, or we're with a client or something, and I always want to, feature clients whenever we can,
Yeah.
we get so much more traction than just like random, regular, sort of not including our people.
Yeah. Because people
We
like
get so much
people.
more.
We're drawn
Yeah.
to one another,
Mhm.
not just
And it
a
shows like
brand.
the human side of the business too, right? I
Mhm.
mean, it's not just inanimate objects, or, inanimate things. It's, look, this is who we are. This is what we do. This is our culture. This is the people that you might get to work with if you work with us or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a game changer when you can incorporate your people. And one thing or objection sometimes they'll give us is like, well, what if they leave the company? Well, what if, so what? Guess what? You just need to shoot some more pictures, or you do some more videos again.
Yeah. If anything, it's just,
Mhm.
again, you're just like humanizing the brand. People love it.
Mhm.
I see the same thing. Like, I hate getting on video and stuff for social, but the second I do, I'm like, okay, that silly video of me just whatever made people laugh,
Mhm.
and now they're talking to me again. Like, it's
Mhm.
important.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I certainly enjoyed our conversation, and I'm sure we could kind of geek out and talk about this for hours if we wanted to. But just to wrap up, why don't you do two things? Give us kind of some final, tidbits or nuggets of information that you'd like to share, or just tips that they can use, and then also share how people can reach out to you if they would like to use your services for their business.
Okay. I think my final tip that I'll say is grab all of your website copy, look at how you're being portrayed on your Google Business Profile, on social media, put all of that into AI and ask AI, like, how can I make this content more cohesive across the board? And that's the way to use it. Like, look at the responses you're going to get, and it's going to open your eyes. You're going to see some things that you didn't realize from an outsider's perspective. And I honestly feel like the brands who really start doing that more are the ones that are going to keep thriving moving forward. And if anyone wants to follow along, I have a free newsletter I put out once a week. It's called SEO Sidekick. I like to demystify SEO and make it for regular people so they can read along and understand it, at least, so you feel confident. You're like, okay, I could totally get this. And
Nice.
yeah, and you could find me on all the platforms, Amber Goetz, or my brand name is The Active Media.
Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Amber, for all of the wisdom that you shared today.
Thanks, Ray. This was fun.
Absolutely. And for those of you listening, the best thing that you can do for Amber and I both is to share this podcast with those that you know that could use all of the wisdom that she shared with us. And of course, give us a review on whatever podcast platform you use to listen to, as those reviews are like gold to us. So thank you for that. And for those of you listening, until next time, enjoy your marketing journey.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Expedition podcast. Want to continue the journey? Don't miss out on new episodes. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. Wouldn't it be great if there was one place you can go to get all the latest information and tips about marketing and advertising? The Marketing Expedition community is that place. People like you gather in our online community to build relationships with others and find the latest marketing trends, tactics, tools, and technology. We help you build your brand and your bottom line. Start your adventure today. Visit themarketingexpedition.com to find out more.